An unexpected set of events rocked the Texas Tech community before spring break, changing the university schedule and making national headlines. Coming up, we'll have the details regarding the power outages caused by explosions on the north side of campus.
Texas Tech officials joined alumni, students, and other members of the Red Raider community to help spread the word of the university's efforts at the state capitol. MCTV's Kiley Phillips has looked back at Texas Tech System Day 2025.
Students looking for summer job opportunities recently had the chance to learn about some temporary positions that offer much more than a paycheck. MCTV's Isa Castillo stopped by the sub-courtyard to find out how Red Raiders can get outside, put in some hours, and learn lessons that could help them in their future careers.
And both the men's and women's basketball teams are still in action as March Madness continues into the last week of the month. But will either team bring home a new banner to the USA? MCTV's Allie Scott has a preview of both teams' upcoming matches in the hardwood along with the latest headlines from the Diamond in Sports.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Elisabeth Herring.
And I'm Kiley Phillips. A few days before spring break, most students were finishing classes and packing to leave town by the weekend. But many Red Raiders' plans were suddenly changed by an unexpected event.
An emergency in the engineering key on the night of Wednesday, March 12th, not only shocked the Texas Tech community, it led to a huge change in scheduling for spring break across the campus. MCTV's Macy Rainser has the story.
Viral videos from Texas Tech students took over the internet on the Wednesday night before spring break. Scenes of confused students evacuating buildings and leaving campus began to show up on feeds along with videos of a chaotic scene in the engineering key.
This is an emergency notification from Texas Tech University.
Shortly after 7 p.m., the first tech alert was sent to the university community stating that a power outage was happening on campus. 15 minutes later, a follow-up message said that a gas odor was reported in the engineering key and that the area was being evacuated.
It's hot.
Over the next hour, fear and confusion took over as social media began spreading videos of green fire, purple smoke, and first responders working to get the situation under control. In a press conference held the day after the incident, Matt Rose with Lubbock Power and Light gave details on the explosions that created the fires.
What we saw last night, when you saw the stuff coming out of the manholes and the reaction to the electricity, electricity is dangerous. It is an extremely dangerous element. We know that it allows us to do everything that we do in our everyday lives, but we should always be very respectful of it.
Over an hour and a half after the first tech alert was sent out on Wednesday night, a follow-up message officially acknowledged the explosions on campus, along with the power outages across campus and at the Health and Sciences Center. 30 minutes later, another message informed students, faculty, and staff that spring break would start immediately, with classes canceled on Thursday and Friday.
Our first concern was the students, our staff and faculty. So we made a decision that we would suspend classes, and then we were concerned about how do we safely evacuate these students from the campus. It was dark, there were no streetlights. The police did a great job of monitoring intersections and traffic, and we recommended to the students that they wait until daylight to try to leave.
Over the next 5 days following the incident, campus crews along with LP&L worked to restore power across campus. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms was also called in to help investigate the cause of the situation and the extent of the damage. And then on Tuesday, March 18th, President Skovanec sent out an update to the university community announcing that on-campus residents could return to their dorm over the weekend and classes would resume on Monday. During the press conference following the incident, several of the panel members said they were relieved that no one was injured due to the explosions and fires. Lubbock Fire Department Deputy Chief Nick Wilson said that overall the situation was handled as well as it was due to first responders, utility crews, and Texas Tech personnel working together efficiently as a team.
We don't see what we saw last night every day, thankfully. Those great relationships that we have built, that we have had long-standing, and really the training that we've done together really helped prepare and is a testament to why an incident that certainly could have been a lot worse went as well as it did.
The Texas Tech community returned to campus this past Monday and started classes back at 8 a.m. But around 9:30, another power failure affected more than 25 facilities, and classes in several buildings were canceled or forced to make changes to instruction for the rest of the day. Power was restored around 2 p.m. Monday afternoon, and no other outages have been reported this week.
In other news affecting Lubbock and the South Plains area over the break, the measles outbreak continues to spread across Texas, with residents from 15 counties included in the latest report. The Department of State Health Services has added 6 more counties to the list since our last newscast before spring break. Here on the South Plains, Lamb, Hale, Cochran, Hockley, and Garza counties are now on the list, along with Lamar County in the northwest corner of the state. The total number of cases now stands at 327 cases of measles officially reported since the outbreak started at the end of January. Here in Lubbock, there have now been 10 cases identified locally, although there are no specifics on whether or not that number includes anyone in the Texas Tech community. But during spring break, a memo was sent out by the university saying that there were 2 exposure sites here on campus between Tuesday, March 4th and Wednesday, March 12th. Those sites included the Carpenter Wells Apartments and the Student Health Services Clinic. The memo states that symptoms can appear between 7 and 14 days after exposure, meaning that anyone exposed to the disease should have had signs of measles by this week. Symptoms include high fever, cough, runny nose, red watery eyes, and a rash that starts on the face and spreads downward. If you have had any or all of these symptoms and have not yet spoken to a medical professional, you should call Student Health Services at 806-743-2848. The staff at SHS are also available to answer questions and provide the MMR vaccine to all Texas Tech students.
As we mentioned before spring break, the Student Government Association was forced to reschedule their annual elections after technical issues prevented voting on March 4th. The new elections took place on Wednesday before spring break, and the results were not affected by the power outages across campus. On Thursday, March 13th, the SGA announced the results on social media. Out of the 4 executive candidate positions, only 1 race was contested. Crispus Ancoma was elected Graduate Vice President, joining Internal VP Madeline Clark, External VP Jackson Bentley, and new Student Body President Faith Geisweit. Senators for each of the 10 colleges and law school and graduate school were also elected on March 12th, and no runoffs were announced after voting concluded that night. Each of the students elected will be sworn in during one of the final SGA meetings of the spring semester. The executive officers and senators will then serve in each of their roles during the 2025-2026 school year. For a full list of this year's Student Government Association results, visit sga.ttu.edu and click on 2025 SGA election results under Important Links. Speaking of elected officials, members of the Texas legislature and other state leaders recently had a chance to hear from a group of passionate Red Raiders at the Texas Capitol. Kiley made the trip to Austin on Tuesday before spring break and has details on how the university is spreading its banners far and wide, including right here in the Lone Star State. Kiley?
Thanks, Elizabeth. Texas Tech University and the Texas Tech System hosted Texas Tech System Day at the Capitol. The focus of the day was on topics important to legislatures such as national security, healthcare, and how our Texas Tech system is catering to those needs. Texas Tech System Day is held every other year in the state capitol. It represents not just Texas Tech, but all 5 schools in the system. These are TTU System, Texas Tech University, TTU Health Sciences Center, Angelo State University, Midwestern State University, and TTU Health Science Center El Paso. Alumni, students, and important faculty all come together to advocate for the system's priorities ahead of this legislative cycle, as well as thank Texas State Legislature for all they've done. The event kick-started with recognition of the TTU system in both the House and Senate floors.
One of the things during session that we want to make sure happens is that the folks down here, the elected officials, all know a little bit about what each of our universities does and why it's important to the state of Texas.
Texas Tech Chancellor Ted Mitchell said that this year's Texas legislature is heavily focused on national security and rural access to health care. After the day's event, attendees were seen all through the Capitol halls passing out special Texas Tech gifts to all state legislative offices.
When you see our alumni from all 5 of our universities walk in these hallways, the impact that it has on the legislators and their staff members is incredible. The enthusiasm and the energy that you get from that is incredible.
Raider Red and even the masked rider took photos with people touring the Capitol and TTU system and the state legislature, all met for a group photo in the Capitol Rotunda to close out the day. The next Texas Tech System Day will occur in 2027. If you left Lubbock on the Thursday after the power outages here on campus, you may not know that the Lubbock area experienced a historic wind event on the following Friday. Wind speeds reached as high as 65 miles per hour across the South Plains, and the Lubbock International Airport reported a gust of 82 miles per hour that afternoon. That was the highest wind gust on record for the spring since 1945. Luckily, the weather conditions have been a lot nicer this week, but there are a few changes on the way for the weekend. Elisabeth joins us now from the Weather Center with a look at today's MCTV forecast. Elisabeth?
Thanks, Kylie. Well, a lot has happened since we've had the last MCTV newscast, from power outages to high wind speeds to dust storms. Luckily, this week weather has been relatively nice. We've seen highs in the lower to mid 80s. This afternoon, looking at our MCTV tower cam, cloudy skies out there, highs a little bit lower with highs in the upper 70s today. And we still have no rain in the forecast, and unfortunately this is making an impact on the drought across the South Plains area. Currently, lower parts of the South Plains, down in the southern parts, severe according to our drought monitors, and moderate in the northern parts of the South Plains. Lubbock split right in the middle from moderate to severe drought levels. And while we don't have any sure chances of rain coming up, we do have the potential for some severe weather today. Thunderstorms possible throughout the South Plains area. So this means rain, high winds, even some hail possibly. So just keep that in mind as we head throughout today. And we also are going to have our next chance of rain on Friday. We're going to see some clouds start to move into the area Friday early morning around 8 a.m. right when you're walking to class. 10 a.m. is when the chance of showers are most likely to happen here in Lubbock. Moving throughout the South Plains area, we could possibly see some much needed rain throughout the area. And while we might not see any rain this upcoming weekend, we do have some winds headed our way as we step into our weekend Friday to Saturday. Winds picking up Friday evening, and that's going to stick around Saturday afternoon. We're going to see gusts back up there in the 20s, mid to upper 20s across the South Plains area. So just keep that in mind as you make weekend plans. And just remember, if we do have high winds, that also does mean dust as well, especially here in Lubbock. Well, low tonight of 53 here locally in Lubbock. Tomorrow warming up back in the 80s with a high of 85 and partly cloudy skies, so it's going to be a gorgeous day if you have any outdoor evening plans. And as we look at the rest of our weekend, Saturday temperature-wise going to be nice, high of 86. However, we do have those winds returning, and Sunday back in the 70s with a high of 77. Those winds dying down, leaving us with some beautiful partly cloudy skies. So going to be a nice weekend if you have some outside plans. The Wolford Farmers Market is always good on weekends like this. As we head into next week, starting our week off pretty nice on Monday with a high of 71, pretty mild temperatures, sunny skies. Unfortunately, return of the wind on Tuesday with a high of 88. Wednesday, high of 75, Thursday 73. Next week looking pretty nice so far, lows in the upper 40s to lower 50s. Well, wind here in Lubbock does mean dust, so just as we are headed into severe weather season, we're seeing chances of thunderstorms and dust and wind. Just keep that in mind as we head into our weekend and the rest of next week. I'm Elisabeth, and it's back to Kylie.
Thanks, Elisabeth. Before spring break, several groups across campus held some mid-semester events for students. One of those groups headed over to the Student Union buildings on Wednesday, March 5th, to help give Red Raiders thinking about options for summer employment a head start. MCTV's Isa Castillo was at the event to discover unique temporary job opportunities that offer students the chance to gain some important life skills.
The University Career Center hosted its annual summer camp job fair this past Wednesday at the Sub Courtyard, bringing together students and employers to find skilled candidates. Students interested in working with children, leading activities, or coordinating projects had the chance to connect with representatives from a variety of different summer camps. Each camp offers a diverse selection of paid positions and internship opportunities for the summer of 2025. While many might think working a summer camp job means taking care of kids, Camp Honey Program Director Nisha Oakes says being a summer camp counselor is much more than that.
The skills that they learn as a camp counselor are amazing. They learn initiative, they learn problem solving, they learn community living, They learn time management. They learn such a myriad of skills that cannot be duplicated except at a summer camp.
Oak says working at a summer camp provides students with a multitude of opportunities that carry over into the professional world. According to the University Career Center website, camp employers are looking for a diverse range of skills from their counselors. These summer positions not only build character, but also provide practical experience that can be applied to future careers. UCC Marketing Manager Riley Martinez says there's so much to gain from working a summer camp job.
I think some more advantages to a summer camp job is all of the different skill sets you get, because if you're a counselor at this camp, you could be doing art and admin work and directing, and maybe at this summer camp you're a counselor but you're doing more outdoor activities and working with kids and counseling. So really I think the benefit is just such a wide skill set that you can add to your resume, and I think that's really the difference with a summer camp job, and also making a difference in kids' lives. That's always a good thing.
For Red Raiders unsure of their summer plans, Oaks encourages students to prioritize these summer opportunities.
My advice to them is take the summer for you. It will be the best investment in your life as well.
For more information on available summer camp positions, students can visit the University Career Center website at careercenter.ttu.edu. For MCTV, I'm Isa Castillo.
Several Texas Tech teams weren't able to take off for spring break, but that doesn't mean they didn't have some fun during the mid-semester holiday.
2 teams extended their postseason to this week, and a couple others worked to improve their records as they took on non-conference competition. MCTV's Allie Scott joins us now with the latest in Red Raider headlines in sports. Allie?
Thank you, Elizabeth and Kylie. Welcome back to Texas Tech Sports. With men's basketball making a strong run in March Madness and baseball players returning to the field after a long-awaited comeback, it has been an exciting week for Red Raider fans. Let's dive in. Number 3 Texas Tech is set for a Sweet 16 showdown against number 10 Arkansas today in San Francisco after a dominating 77-64 win over Drake in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Darian Williams led the charge with a season-high 28 points, while JT Toppin delivered 25 points and 12 rebounds. Their combined performance propelled the Red Raiders to their 7th Sweet 16 appearance. Tech held a 37-30 lead into halftime after 9 lead changes, and with 14 minutes remaining, went on a 6-0 run to stretch the advantage to 47-38. Elijah Hawkins sealed the momentum with 4 straight made free throws.
Man, we didn't make threes, and that just shows the resilience of Darian Williams and JT Toppin, just to be persistent in the way we put it on the block, and it's an awesome way to win.
Then senior guard Elijah Hawkins put up 16 points and 7 assists, setting a new Texas Tech single-season assist record with 214. He surpassed John Robertson's previous record of 212 from the 2008-2009 season. Toppin also reached a new career milestone, surpassing 1,000 career points after scoring the 18 necessary needed to reach the feat. His historic bucket came just seconds before halftime. He now has 1,007 career points. The Red Raiders will battle the Razorbacks at the Chase Center in San Francisco today with a tip-off set for 9:09 p.m. Central Time. The Lady Raiders are making noise in the WBIT tournament, advancing to the quarterfinals after winning 5 of their last 6 games, including a 69-59 victory over the top-seeded Virginia Tech Hokies on Sunday. Junior guard Bailey Maupin scored 23 points. This marked her 10th game with 20-plus points and her 27th double-digit scoring performance of the season. Jasmine Shavers followed with 16 points, while Logan Johnson collected a career-high 5 assists. Maupin and Shavers remain the leading scorers for the Lady Raiders and are closing in on history, potentially becoming the second duo in program history to each surpass 500 points in a single season. Shavers has already reached 529, while Maupin is right behind at 492. The Lady Raiders will take on the number 3 seeded Florida in the WBIT quarterfinals tonight at 5 p.m. on the Gators' home court in the Stephen C. O'Connell Center. Over at the Diamond, the Red Raider baseball team had a familiar face back on the mound as redshirt freshman Brady Chambrello made his long-awaited return after a season-ending injury last February. Texas Tech pulled off a thrilling 10-7 comeback win over the Tarleton State Texans on Tuesday, thanks to clutch performances from Grant Boehm, Kendall Johnson, and Coleman Ryan. The Red Raiders trailed 7-1 in the 5th inning, but had a comeback before Bohm sparked the rally with a home run. Johnson then stole second on a hit, setting up Ryan's RBI single to cut the deficit 7-3. Tech kept the energy high, tying the game before Johnson crushed a 2-run triple to bring Davis Rivers and Bohm home. Ryan then capped off the comeback with a left field hit, allowing Johnson to score from third and securing the 10-7 win. The Red Raiders will next hit the road to face off against Big 12 opponent Kansas State. The series begins on Friday at 6 p.m. with games to follow on Saturday at 4 p.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m. Although the Red Raiders softball team dropped their series to South Carolina over the weekend, their last game had an exciting comeback which led to the 6-5 win over the Gamecocks. Trailing 5-0 entering the fourth, the Red Raiders stormed back. Kylie Huffman's sac fly got them on the board, followed by Alexa Langalier's 2-run double to make it 5-3. Bailey Lindemuth and Demi Elder executed perfect bunts, allowing Tech to take the lead. Nigeri Kennedy struck out the side in the final inning to seal the win. Langelier led the offense, going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, including a 2-run double in the 4th inning. Starting pitcher Samantha Lincoln moved her record to 5-2 on the season after striking out 3 batters in 4 innings, while Nigeri Kennedy closed it out with 2 hitless innings and 4 strikeouts. Next up, the team will head to Lawrence, Kansas to face off against the University of Kansas. The weekend series will begin at 5 p.m. on Friday, followed by a Saturday game at 2 p.m. and a noon game on Sunday. That's a wrap for Texas Tech Sports. Now back to Kylie and Elizabeth.
Thanks, Allie. As we mentioned earlier, many groups were busy before spring break hosting events before students headed out of town, but there were many events beyond the Texas Tech campus.
On the Saturday before spring break, Lubbock Community Theater held a special event to give local residents a preview of their most recent live production. On March 8th, the Shire Market, a free family-friendly event, was held to celebrate the company's upcoming production of The Hobbit. The art annex of Lubbock Community Theater was transformed into a vibrant marketplace inspired by the artistry and wonder of Middle-earth. The market had vendor booths, costume contests, free children's arts and crafts, and more. The event was more than just a market. It was an immersive experience designed to bring together local crafters, vendors, and artists.
So the Shire Market it's important both for the community and also for Lubbock Community Theater. For the community, it is about bringing visibility and bringing economy to our local artisans.
LCT hosted their production of The Hobbit at Buddy Hall this past weekend. The show wrapped up on Sunday, but the theater company will be announcing their next production later this spring. To keep up with Lubbock Community Theater's schedule of productions along with the list of programming and classes they offer, visit mylct.org.
So Elizabeth, how was your spring break?
It was super lovely. I went back to Austin for a little while, luckily before all the dust storms in Lubbock hit.
Nice. I got home right before the storms as well, so I was super excited for that. That's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.